If you want to build multiplayer games in Unity, then make sure you hit the alert button and subscribe, because I'm just about ready to release a full tutorial to teach you everything you need to know about using netcode for game objects and building a full battle arena. That's not this video though. Instead, today we're going to take a look at some of the problems that I ran into while I was building this tutorial that I think you might run into as well. Plus a couple little quick tips that I think will make your multiplayer development experience quite a bit easier. First, let's start with the most important tip. If you're working on a multiplayer project and you have the power to upgrade, do it now. Go to 2023 and set up the multiplayer play mode package. With this package, you no longer need symlinks or duplicate Unity projects open. You just set up however many players you want, up to 4, and it'll open them up and then run them as their own unique little game window with a console. You can add player tags to the window so that you can tell which one's player 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then make one of them be the host automatically or have the other ones do whatever it is that you want them to do. Sometimes I've seen this set up with a dedicated server as player 1, and then player 2 and 3 as clients, or sometimes player 1 is just a host, and the other ones are clients, or sometimes they're all exactly the same and you just use the UI. They're very easy to read. You just use currentPlayer.readOnly tag. It's a static method on that static class. But remember that these only work in the editor, so make sure you wrap it around some if-defs. Also, if you try to do a WebGL build, this won't work, so you're going to need to use a little script to strip this part out of your packages if you're trying to do that. Well, if you're doing a remote WebGL build using Cloud Build. We'll get into that later. You can still do a local WebGL build with it installed just fine. If you're using it with Unity's anonymous authentication, though, you're going to run into a problem where all of your game windows have the same profile. So you're going to want to switch profile either to a random number or something unique, or you could just use that player tag. If you use currentPlayer.readOnly tag there and those are unique, that'll work as well so that they all get logged in as unique players and they don't log each other out. Now let's talk about the lobby package real quick. You set this up in the services tab of the package manager, and there are two important things that I wanted to mention here. One, you really can't use this very well without using the relay service as well. Technically you can, but it's really kind of designed to work with the relay service. So if you're going to set up the relay service at the same time. It'll save you a lot of pain and trouble, and it'll just make it kind of work when a lot of things don't work. The other thing I want to talk about is the samples. There are 3 sample projects out there right now that you can grab from Unity, and I've taken a look at them all, and I think it's worth checking them all out, but the one that I would use as my go-to is just the Hello Lobby or Lobby Hello World one, because it's the least opinionated, that doesn't have a whole bunch of other stuff built up around it. The other 2 are a little bit complex. They're doing a lot of stuff kind of out of a real-world game scenario, but that may not match your game scenario at all, and it also makes learning that lobby service bit quite a bit harder, I think, especially if you're newer to this stuff or if you find any of that code confusing. So I would take a look at the Lobby Hello World and just take a look at what it's doing. It creates a lobby, joins a lobby, then disconnects from that, and then quick joins a lobby afterwards. So you can just take those little bits and then figure out how they work independently and cut them out on your own. Now let's talk about moving things. There are a couple of important things to note. When you want to move your own player, you've got to give yourself authority. So if you're using the network transform, which I would recommend you take a look at, it's the one that synchronizes movement across from the owner or the authoritative thing across to all of the other clients. If you want to use that, though, you need to use something like the client network transform code that they have on their page. And you use that, override network transform, and make it have authority, then it can move around. Now on to WebGL. This is probably the part where things will break the most. Couple things that are very important to note. First, you need to upgrade your Unity transport. It's not in the package manager. You actually have to go put in the new transport version. The one that I put in was 2.0.2. Using this, upgraded everything, and then allowed me to actually run this on WebGL. But you also have to switch everything over to WebSockets. And if you use some of the sample code, make sure that you switch over to WSS in there. The last 2 things I want to note on WebGL are that, one, a lot of the samples use async code, and if you add in like a task.delay, it's going to break WebGL. You can't do asynchronous stuff in WebGL, and you may want to kind of refactor things over to coroutines, but as long as you don't do any new task stuff in the sample, the Hello Lobby sample at least, I'm pretty sure that that still worked exactly how it should in the WebGL builds. I hope this was useful. If you want to see the full tutorial, actually learn how to build a full-on multiplayer battle arena game that's somewhat fast-paced, it'll run on WebGL where everybody's going to be able to play and shoot each other, then make sure that you're subscribed, and it'll be coming really soon. All right, bye.